Alright, so I just want to give you some quick tips on writing this short story and highlight some things here. The best way to write a good short story is to not try to do it all in one night, as I mentioned in here. But it's something that comes with practice and becoming familiar with how short stories work. So if your short story has the right plot points, it has an exposition and a rising action, it has a climax and a falling action, you have well-developed characters, those are the main things we're looking for. And it doesn't have to be a really dramatic event that you're writing about. It can be something simple. Most of the stories you'll read, just kind of simple events taking place, but they show your characters in action. And another tip here, as you're trying to come up with a good plot for your story, you want to put your characters in interesting situations that are going to cause them to grow or to struggle. There needs to be some conflict, not necessarily like combat or physical conflict, but a conflict where your characters are uncomfortable, they're pushed out of their comfort zones, and they have to grow or change or adapt. And it's just one little slice of that character's life. It's not going to be their whole life. It's going to be a short, brief time period. So those are some things to keep in mind. But as you work on this, just be aware it's something that needs to evolve over time. You probably won't just write a first draft and turn it in. You'll probably write a couple different drafts of this story to get it where you want it to be. Some people find it useful to outline the story before they write it if you want to know where it's going to go. Some people like to just kind of write and see where it takes them. I like kind of a combination of the two approaches. But I'm starting to move more towards outlining because I spend a lot of time staring at my screen wondering what's going to happen next. So sometimes it helps to outline in advance, and then you kind of get a sense of where you're going and you can focus on the quality of your writing a little more, rather than trying to think always what's going to happen next. But the process will look different for everyone because we're all different in how we write and how we compose. But, this paragraph is important. You really want to think about making these characters real. And the hardest part for me is coming up with what's going to happen. And so it really helps for me to be reading a lot of short stories and thinking about this over time, not just trying to make it all happen in one sitting. So these things are important here. You're going to learn about these aspects in the coming lessons. So make sure that you're, just like with a poem, you're still paying attention to your language and your imagery. But also we're adding things like dialogue and plot. Showing rather than telling, we'll talk a lot more about that. But making sure that your plot has conflict, like I said, and realistic, developed characters, as well as good use of setting and point of view. So those are some tips, just some things I wanted to highlight from this. But if you're struggling with your story, I can help you kind of know where to go next, but here's some starting ideas. And I'll also include some other resources that will help you.